Hey, welcome to the Andrew Morgan Show. I'm your host, Andrew Morgan, obviously. I got a special guest here with me today, Josh Radford. Josh is a good friend of mine and also works for me. He's one of my paralegals. Actually been with me longer than anybody.
Yeah, close to 5 years now.
Yeah.
In April.
Yeah, April will be 5 years. It's just crazy. So Josh and I, we're going to talk NCAA tournament, talk about some maybe upsets, some expectations, hopefully no dashed dreams, at least for one of us. Now, Josh is a little special. He actually is a fan of a terrible team that has the wrong shade of orange as part of their colors. We pray for him, but, one of these days. He did have to wear a Tennessee hat a few years ago after his team lost to us up at Bristol. So, Josh, tell us, which team are you a fan of?
I'm actually a Virginia Tech fan. Been one for a long time now.
Terrible. Just terrible. So Josh may be going up to the NCAA tournament on Friday.
Yeah.
You got tickets for 3 of the games right now?
Yeah.
So my understanding is you're trying to see about switching that up so you can see VTech and maybe see Tennessee?
Yeah, we got tickets to 3 games at Lucas Oil right now, and we're going to try to maneuver those around into seeing who we want to see. So.
It's the joys of getting tickets ahead of time.
Yes.
Back in years ago when my wife and I started dating, I decided it'd be a good idea to try to get tickets to a bowl game, thinking that Tennessee would make it. Back when we played in bowl games.
Sure.
It was obviously years ago. And I got tickets to I don't even remember what it was. It was down in Orlando.
Okay.
Orlando. And so I bought the tickets in November or so, and of course they picked the bowl destinations later. Well, I convinced my wife that we should go to Daytona for New Year's.
Oh.
And she quickly saw through my gesture of taking her on a vacation as a chance to go to a bowl game. It ended up being Michigan State and Georgia, which was the only time in my life I've ever cheered for Georgia.
Sure.
But, you got to do what you got to do when you're sitting around a bunch of Big Ten people.
My wife always likes to gripe at me that I stick a sporting event in whichever vacation we go to. So
I wouldn't know anything about that. Yeah. I have been accused of that as well. So, Josh, let's talk. You got a first 4. I don't think anyone really truly cares about those.
Yeah.
Do you? I think UCLA,
really.
Michigan State might be the.
Yeah, that one's going to be a pretty good one. So.
Yeah. I think ESPN has that projection. I was going to see who they had. I don't even know. Me personally, Michigan State, I don't think you ever bet against Michigan State. Michigan State's just too well coached, and that's a team that I think I'd have to pull for as far as pulling off that W. Now, what are your Virginia Tech? What are you guys? The Cavaliers? Is that right?
No, definitely not. We're the Hokies. Looks like we got Florida in the first round.
I don't even know what a Hokie is, but if you guys are going against the Gators, then obviously I got to cheer for y'all against that.
Certainly. I'm a little bit back and forth on this game. I'm not really sure who I like. I know Florida's got some good players, not as great as I think they should be this year, but they've beat some pretty good teams. I know they put a beat down on Tennessee a little while ago.
Listen at you.
I'm going to go ahead and pull Virginia Tech on this one. Just on bias.
Not being a homer there.
No.
Well, I mean, Florida does have a better ranking, but I know VTech was out a lot with COVID-related issues, but hopefully Florida goes down.
Certainly.
In a blaze of glory.
That's right.
So I will be all
Send them packing.
All Hokie for that first game on Friday.
We appreciate that.
Now I think Arkansas should make easy work of Colgate.
Yeah.
Illinois, Texas Tech. I think Texas Tech. If you ever see my brackets, there aren't very many upsets in them. I don't know, statistically speaking. Of course, I'd love to see Ohio State go down. Anytime the Ohio State University can lose, I'm fine with that.
That'd be a pretty big upset by Oral Roberts if they're able to pull that one off.
I would love that.
Never underestimate a team to get on a hot run and kind of make a run at.
Amen. And you get incentive. I mean, nobody likes Ohio State. I mean, come on. Seriously. So, of course, you got tickets for the Baylor game, actually.
Yeah, I'm excited about that.
So, Baylor, Hartford, of course, Tennessee. Well, we got Georgia Tech.
I really like Georgia Tech. They're I think they started off a little bit slow this year, but they've really picked it up. They won the ACC tournament. They got a couple good players. I know one guy won ACC Player of the Year. They got a good mix right now, so they're hot. They could make a good run.
Well, and it's always nice to see Georgia Tech or anybody win the ACC that's not named Duke.
Right.
That's always a good thing.
Yeah, getting Duke out of there this year.
Oh my goodness,
it's great.
Always a good thing. And of course, Tennessee has the Oregon State Beavers, as we like to say. We have our receptionist Brady. Played soccer for Oregon State in college. He was a scholarship athlete from Anchorage, Alaska, of all places. I tried to get him to come on today, and I think he was a little too worried that I'd make fun of his Beavers. But I texted him as soon as I saw that Tennessee was playing them and tried to get him to put some money on it, but nothing yet. I think he knows that we're going to take care of him. The funny thing is he's actually going to go to law school at UT. So I asked him, I said, you going to pull for the team that, got you a bachelor's degree or the team that's going to get you a law degree?
Yeah.
He hadn't made up his mind yet. So hopefully we should get rid of one team in orange. Yeah. That would be nice. The number of teams in orange in the Midwest is absurd. I think there's 6
crazy.
Teams.
I don't know how that happened.
I think we should actually put it to an end. Whoever wins just keeps the color orange. Everybody else goes to black or green or something.
Or white, yeah, I like it.
Or white. I don't really care. Just anything but orange. 151 Pantone 151 is the only real orange. So I don't know about anyone else out there, but that's how I believe.
I like Tennessee to make a little run here. I think they took care of Oregon State. I think they catch Oklahoma State in the second round. But I don't underestimate Tennessee's ability to lay an egg against a team. Yeah. And so I got them knocking out round 3 against Georgia Tech.
Well, and it's definitely one. Oklahoma State, there's some things to worry about there. I really think if we can get past them, I think we can handle Georgia Tech. We handled it a few years ago in Atlanta in football.
Sure.
We just can't let them beat us. I mean, a Georgia team beating us in anything other than football. I mean, come on. I mean, look at what happened a few years ago with, was it Georgia State? I don't even remember. I should have that tattooed on me.
There you go.
After that loss in football.
That's rough, yeah.
Of course, Wisconsin, UNC. As a kid who grew up idolizing Michael Jordan, UNC was my team back before I knew any better. I gotta go pull for UNC. I'm not a huge fan of Roy Williams, but those colors are nice and the logo's nice, and too many years spent cheering for him. I gotta pull for UNC.
I'd love nothing more than to see UNC get beat out in the first round, just for personal reasons.
Oh yeah.
However, they had they were not doing good this year, but they really kind of turned it around. They've got a lot of big guys down low that are good. Yep. That's their strength. That Armando Bacot dude is just a monster down in the post, rebounding, finishing, blocking shots. I think they could make a pretty good run on it if they get hot. So.
Oh, yeah. Well, and Houston, Cleveland, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Houston, Clyde Drexler might not be there, but
I don't think so.
I don't think so. He should be. He'd probably still be the best player on the team.
He probably would be.
But Houston, they have been good this year. Purdue, Purdue's another game I think you get tickets to, right?
Yes, I do.
Purdue and
I actually like.
I don't even know who UNT is.
UNT, yeah. North Texas.
Oh, North Texas.
Yeah. I actually like North Texas in that game.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure they won their conference. Not 100% on that, but I'm pretty sure they did. I like them to pull that one off.
Yeah, actually, ESPN has them and Liberty down. As some folks, the Mean Green, actually pulling off an upset. That could go in some brackets and bust them up.
Yeah.
Rutgers and Clemson, two teams I really don't care that much for. Clemson, nothing against them. I just, they've had some football players that we really, really should have had at Tennessee.
Clemson's an intriguing team for the tournament. Yeah. They started out pretty well, and then they kind of went on a slump for a while, and then they've recently started picking it back up. I like the Tigers.
Yeah. Well, and that's one that – I think I still have enough bad feelings toward Rutgers for a former coach there. Mm-hmm. So, Syracuse and San Diego State. I actually went to law school with a guy who played on the 95, 96. Well, he played for 4 years at Syracuse.
Okay.
And so it's one of those always have sort of, not hated on them because of him. He was a good guy. So Syracuse is they're always a threat to make a run. They just always are. West Virginia, I know you're a huge West Virginia guy.
Yeah. I got tickets to that game as well. So
Yes.
we'll see. We'll see how that one goes.
We'll see if you head back early.
Yeah, I definitely would like them to lose, but I don't think it happens in the first round for sure.
Yeah.
So they're a pretty decent team this year.
Oh yeah, and of course Villanova. Villanova, always a good program over there. And Georgetown, Colorado. The Buffalo. I don't know.
Patrick Ewing and them boys they're on a hot streak. They pulled off the tournament win, and I don't think they go far, but I think they might be hard to deal with. So.
And I'm pretty sure I saw somewhere that Patrick Ewing was the first person to win an ACC or a Big East championship as player and coach.
Oh, really? That's awesome.
So Patrick Ewing, I always thought he was a great player, and of course I heard he had a little trouble getting into the Garden last week, so he might have a little more incentive to make sure people haven't forgotten about him.
That's right.
And the Hoyas actually, I almost went to college at Georgetown. Strongly considered it before staying home and going up to UT. Then we got Florida State, UNC Greenville. I'd definitely taken Florida State
for sure,
without a doubt.
They're a great team this year.
They really, really are. It's amazing they didn't win the ACC tournament.
Yeah, I was surprised. Their coach just got a new deal done though, and hopefully he's got his boys ready to make a run in the tournament. I like them in my Final Four actually. So
of course Kansas. I mean, we beat them earlier in the year, and it's a team I think we showed that we handled very easily. But not everybody else has had such luck with them. They had some trouble early on, but I think Kansas makes easy work of their round. LSU, I pray, goes down. Will Wade has no business coaching, so hopefully SBU handles their business.
Yeah. I don't really care for LSU too much. I don't know what to make or think of them this year, so. I wouldn't mind seeing them go out, but I guess they could possibly make a run. I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
And Michigan, I didn't catch that game yesterday. I didn't, but at one point it looked like Michigan had a pretty easy handle on the situation. So
they lost.
Did they?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Ohio State won.
They?
Yeah.
My goodness.
My brother's an Ohio State fan, so I remember getting a text saying that. They took care of business.
Check and see.
We'll double check that, make sure.
Oh no, they did lose by 1 point. Still pulled off a number 1 seed. That's 20-4, not a bad record. You can tell I've had other things going on. I haven't paid as much attention as I should have, but lost to Ohio State. That's sad. Yeah. So anytime you lose to Ohio State,
you just feel pathetic about yourself.
You should really just quit and go home. Really should. By the way, if you were tuning in here to actually get like insight as to how the teams were going to be and real in-depth analysis, you picked the wrong place. Yeah. That ain't what we're about.
I gave a little bit here.
I know
a little bit. I prepared a tiny bit before.
I watch one team. I don't really care about anyone else. Well, we'll come back after this quick break and a word from our sponsors. Bradley County just has always been special. The people are amazing. Being from here, growing up, we really pride ourselves on taking care of our friends and neighbors. And so that's what I love about Cleveland is just the camaraderie, the fellowship, the friendship. The fact that 95% of the people you see out here would give you the shirt off their back if they knew you or didn't know you. And that's Cleveland. That's Bradley County.
The law offices of Andrew B. Morgan pride themselves in serving the Bradley County community.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us. We're back with the Andrew Morgan Show. Got Josh on here. We're just talking a little sports today. And again, if you're placing any bets based off what we think, you're going to be so mistaken. I think this is probably one step up from I like that team. They have pretty colors. It's not that we don't know anything about basketball. It's just that between Josh having a couple kids and me just being me, we don't really get to watch a ton of.
Not as much as I used to.
No. As a guy who used to go watch the tournament, go find a nice restaurant or bar with a ton of TVs and sit and catch every minute of March Madness and a lot of the various tournaments leading up to it. I don't do that anymore. It's something about bills and jobs,
That's right.
and, spouses, things like that.
Real world problems.
Yeah, those real issues. So really, my picks are based predominantly on who I hate.
Yeah. If you have plans to bet and you're listening to my picks, I recommend that you pick the exact opposite because if you pick mine, you will lose.
Oh, it's terrible. It's really just one of those things of, I'll do about this much research before I do my bracket. And plan on losing $5 and calling it a day.
Yeah,
that's pretty much.
That's about right. Yeah,
that's pretty much it. Back years ago, Don Reed was a lawyer up in Athens. Loved him to death. He just great guy. Some buddies of mine took over his practice back before he passed, and after he did, we had always had a tournament pool that we went around and did, and we named it the Don Reed Memorial Scholarship Fund. Because of the fact that the winner would get, a small amount of money. I mean, we're talking $100 maybe, but go toward your CLE hours.
Sure.
Because as lawyers, we always have to do so many hours, 15 hours a year of continuing education, and so that was the whole thought. But yeah, I never won the Don Reed Memorial Scholarship program. Never won. Never placed. I think one year the Bradley County Bar Association had one, and I think I ended up third. And it was honestly, I think I turned in a bracket that I probably threw down and just made some random marks on it. That's probably about as close to accurate as I get. Kind of like a professor of mine in law school. I'm pretty sure she graded papers by throwing them down a hallway, and first one she picked up got an A. So
the crazy thing about March Madness is it's kind of hard to pick. Any team can get hot and make a run. No matter what conference they're in or how big of or small of a school they are, they could make a push and end up somewhere deep in it. So and just blow up brackets.
Hey, we lost 3 years ago to St. Mary's School for the Blind or whatever up in I think Indiana, Illinois, something.
Yeah.
Sister Mary, I think, was there.
It's Loyola Chicago.
Yeah. That's Loyola Marymount.
Was it? I don't remember.
I don't know. It was one of those
Loyola
tiny,
something.
Yeah, it was.
I'm pretty sure
those.
there's a few of them.
I think so. I think Loyola Marymount, I believe. But yeah, Tennessee had a great team, and we just got put out. But no, March Madness is great. When I was in law school, we'd take the Thursday and Friday, the first round, and just pretty much hurry up, go to class, leave immediately, and go watch basketball for 12 hours. It was just the best. Honestly, there's nothing that matches it. But speaking of teams we hate, Alabama. Alabama. They have got to lose.
Certainly.
Honestly, Mylon Blake and I talked last Friday about Alabama. He's a huge Alabama fan. And my complaint was that Avery Johnson, I thought did more for Alabama basketball than anybody. And them dismissing him last year, I thought was just a mistake. And I think they're showing it this year. I do not credit the current coaching staff for their success. I may be wrong. And I've already established I'm no expert. But I felt that Avery recruited players that knew how to play. They just had trouble closing out close games last year, and they've come over the hill. And I think a lot of that has to do with age, maturity, et cetera. But I think he really did a good job, and they're showing it this year, the fruits of his labor. But with all that said, and all that praise for Mr. Johnson, I still hope they lose. Still Alabama.
If it was football, I'd for sure be pulling against them.
Yeah.
Basketball, I care about what they do a little bit less because they're not constantly in a championship. Wouldn't mind seeing them go. I think they'll win a few games and then peace out.
Probably, because I still don't think they're quite over that hurdle. I think they can win, SEC championship. I don't think they have what it takes to get past the Sweet 16. USC, we'll see how that one shakes out.
Yeah, I'm not too sure on that one.
Yeah, I'm not.
I'm going to take UNC, but they'll get beat out the next round by Kansas for sure.
Oh yeah, well, or USC.
USC.
Yeah. Of course, you've picked Iowa to win it all, haven't you?
Yeah, I like Iowa this year. Luka Garza, is a great player. I think they make a good run and they're a hard out, and I think they get into the championship.
Yeah. Well, we got Connecticut and Maryland. If this was women's basketball, I could tell you who I'd pick. I hate them, but I could tell you it'd be Connecticut. The Terrapins, though, I don't know.
I'm going Connecticut on this one. I like them all right. They're not what they were back in the day, but they're they're in the Big East again, and they're doing all right.
The two things that I always knew growing up is a Big East team and an ACC team are the two you always pick, because those two played basketball when I was younger better than anybody.
Sure.
The SEC's finally getting to where
they've picked it up.
They really have. But I tend to agree. Connecticut, I think Maryland gives them a good game, but Connecticut pulls it off. Ohio and UVA. I gotta say, man, UVA is a great school. I mean, Thomas Jefferson founded it. It's a beautiful city.
They are technically the defending champs right now.
I'm just saying, I gotta say UVA. I don't see them repeating, but I think they make a decent run.
They don't repeat for sure.
No.
They have great talent. Jay Huff has played really well this year. But they have been on a little bit of a slump here. They're having some COVID issues right now. So, I mean, will they even make it to this weekend? We don't know. We'll just have to wait and see.
True. Missouri and Oklahoma State, or Oklahoma University of Oklahoma. I can't even talk today.
I like Oklahoma.
Yeah.
I watched them play the other night, and while they're not, I don't think they're great and will make a deep run. I think they win a couple, and I like them.
And of course, the Zags, one of the two best teams in the country, Gonzaga and Baylor. At one point, I would say that Gonzaga, Baylor are top two, Tennessee third. Unfortunately, we've just not been consistent at all. And at this point, I think a Sweet 16 today would be a great thing for us. Candidly, if you asked me back in early January, I would have said Final Four or bust.
Sure.
And I think we've just done a bad job of executing.
Sure. I like Tennessee. I think they have a great team, but they just, for some reason, there's just games they'll come out and they're not in tune and they're not ready to play.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know if that's a coaching issue or a player issue or.
With Rick Barnes, I don't know. I might put too much on the players, but with Rick Barnes, I don't really feel like it's a coaching issue.
Sure.
There's some coaches that I think get an exemption to a degree.
Sure.
Tom Izzo, Rick Barnes. It reminds me, years ago I watched. I'm thinking it was Louisville and Tennessee, I believe. And forgive me, my age is showing. It was either Tennessee and Louisville, or it was Tennessee and Michigan State. I'm pretty sure it was Patino versus Pearl. And the whole time, all I could think was, Bruce Pearl's not even half the coach that Rick Pitino is.
Sure.
It might have been Izzo, because Izzo is definitely,
Sure.
When it comes to a game plan and executing and X's and O's, Tom Izzo is, phenomenal. But, with Rick Barnes, I think he's, belongs in that category of the Izzos and the Patinos and the Krzyzewskis. I think he's a great coach. And I'll be honest, when he was hired, I thought he was taking this as a retirement gig and just, going to ease into retirement, take it easy.
Sure.
We'd be, maybe crack the top 25 here and there. But, he's turned us into an actual basketball school. It helps that football's been terrible.
Yeah.
But, we have been consistently great at basketball, and I love it. I had season tickets years ago after Bruce's tenure. I think it might have been the first year of Conzo. And, I enjoyed Conzo. I thought he was a great guy. I thought he recruited good kids and expected them to be good men, which, is what matters more than most things. But Rick Barnes is the real deal. I think he's a great coach, a great recruiter, and I think he also teaches these guys how to be what they need to be, both on the court and off. The fact that he actually brought on 5-star recruits off the bench instead of starting them, I thought shows a lot and helped them.
I don't think the question is whether he is or not isn't a good coach, because he definitely is. I'd put him in a top 10 of mine. Yeah. Is the group of players that he currently has buying into what he's selling on a consistent basis? And you look back a few years ago and you have Grant Williams and Schofield. Those guys, they were buying in. You could tell they wanted to win a championship. Yeah. Now I don't know about these guys.
I think it has more to do with just some of them are younger and just don't have the experience that that they need. I think if Springer and Keon and JJJ stuck around another year, I think
Sure.
we could see amazing things. And part of the issue is like John Fulkerson has so much heart, and he's a good, solid player, but he's had such a slump this year. It kind of reminds me of Jordan Bowden last year. I mean, Bowden's one of my favorite Tennessee basketball players of all time, and it's just been. It was shocking to see how off he was last year,
Sure.
especially looking at the year before. And Fulkerson's kind of had that same issue this year. And, of course, we'll see what Pons does. I mean, does he have 9 blocks again?
Sure.
Defensively, he's in a class of his own. But I agree. I think it's really an issue of how bad do these guys want it.
Sure.
You saw the fire that was lit under him after Fulkerson went out with the flagrant injury, the flagrant foul. But it didn't carry over like it should have. The last 2 or 3 minutes, we just fell asleep.
Yeah.
But at the same point, you see, Ticket getting on Twitter and basically talking about how, he was going to redeem himself, and it's all on him. And
Certainly.
his teammates came to his defense and basically said, no, it's a team effort. And, I think they have a good cohesive unit. It's just a question of will everybody step up and perform with the maturity that they need to have.
Sure.
Because this team has lost far more games than they should have.
I agree. The
Far
teams that they
more.
shouldn't have lost to.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yes. I mean, you beat Kansas by, almost 20.
Yeah.
And then you lose to Florida.
Yeah.
Then
That
you
was
lose
the
to
big
Alabama
loss.
a couple. It's, and that's the thing is, we had a rough second half of January and February, and March is it's not been bad, but I wish we could have closed out Alabama. I think we could have taken care of LSU. Of course, the last BYU I think's got a good shot at winning. Texas, I'd pick them. Oregon. VCU, I know they were always, a nice popular pick for a period of time, but I sort of think
they're a tough out, but I don't see them winning it.
They are, but as far as who I'd pick, I don't even know. I'm looking over the bracket that I filled out this morning.
Well, while you're doing that, I'll go over my Final Four.
Yeah, you.
Here's who I got in the Final Four. I got Iowa right now, which I like a lot. If I'm choosing based upon talent and not bias, they're my winner. Okay. I got Florida State in the Final Four going up against Iowa. I think that's going to be a great matchup if both of those teams can make the run and get there. And then in the other side of the bracket, I got obviously Virginia Tech, which is biased, but they could make a run. They have a decent team. They play good defense. If they're hot on the 3-point with Couture and Aline, they could make a run. And then I have West Virginia making a little bit of a run. I think they can get in there, and then we have a rivalry game as well in the Final Four, and I think that'd be fun to watch. So ultimately, I'm going to go with Iowa. I think to win it all. I think Luka Garza gets it done in his final year, and I think that'd make a good story. So.
Well, I'm a little different. I got Gonzaga and Baylor. To me, obviously. Sure. And I'm going to be a homer. I think that Tennessee has a good path in. I think that they can handle their business with Oregon State. I think they could take Oklahoma State. I think they end up seeing Illinois, and I think they can handle Illinois. And then West Virginia, I do agree with them facing up with them. And then it's just it's a hard road, just based on our own issues, but I think they could pull it off. Yeah. And
if they're focused and playing on point, I could see that happening.
Yeah,
so.
And then on the other side of things, I honestly think Florida State or Alabama. Yeah. So I'd probably say today Florida State, Tennessee, Gonzaga, Baylor, with I know it's cliche, but I'd say a Baylor-Gonzaga championship.
Okay.
With Baylor pulling it off.
Really?
And I know it's a popular pick, I guess, but that's just where I'm at.
I think Gonzaga is going to get everybody's best shot with them being the number one team, and I don't think anybody's beat them this year. So we'll see how that goes for them.
Well, Josh, thanks for coming on.
Hey, glad to be here.
We're out of time. We'll catch you guys next time. Remember, for all your legal needs, Law Office of Andrew B. Morgan, 829-1429. Give us a call. We'll be happy to help you. Josh Levin, come in and see if you need bankruptcy help. But y'all have a good one. We'll catch you next time.